Well, time now to get into our county focus, and at this moment we want to focus on Tharaka-Nithi County. Do you have any questions to the Governor of Tharaka-Nithi, Muthomi Njuki? You can send your feedback. 2242 is our SMS line, and use the hashtag #CitizenExtra on Twitter, on Facebook, and I'll be able to pose some of those questions to him. Governor, karibu sana.
Asante.
Welcome to the program. Thank you for finding time to be here with us today.
Thank you.
First things first, you've been in office now for over 200 days. What do you feel, what would you say are some of your biggest accomplishments?
Does 200 days translate to 5 months or 7 months?
So I did some math. It's over now, so it's like maybe 230 to 40 days or so. Over 200.
All right.
Yes.
First and
you're saying 5 months?
Yeah, it's about 5 months. You know, the real business started after the second election for the presidency.
Okay, okay.
Basically, the rest of the time we were just mark timing and probably participating in campaigns.
So over 100 days then?
But the 5 months really have been challenging months, but a good challenge.
Okay.
Because the idea was to be able to put the systems in place because the hardware was there, just putting the software to ensure that we're able to run a government.
Okay.
And I want to say that Tharaka-Nithi is one of those counties where we have already been able to put the CECs in place, the chief officers in place. We are now working on the officers below them who can actually be able to assist them to deliver on the mandate.
Okay.
But I am happy to be
coming into the studio. So you put in the structures in place? Sorry, go ahead. If you're happy.
I'm happy to be coming into the studio this morning when Kenya is in a very good mood because it is forgiving time and cooperation time.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that that cooperation also, even within the media fraternity we are there, I would probably ask you by urging you to the case that you wanted to sue the government because of switch off, because now even the people you switched off or switched off because of,
yes,
they're talking to each other.
Okay, so peace for all.
Peace for all.
Good. Let's focus on Tharaka-Nithi. Yes. We can come and talk about. I'll call you another day when you have a chance to talk about media and government. You recently spoke out against a proposal by Treasury to cut back on allocation to the counties. You are very vocal. I even tried to pull out that clip. I wasn't able to get it in time. Does your position remain the same? You told them, cut back on the projects at the national level.
Yes. Allow
the counties to operate or proceed as planned.
Actually, that cut would be tantamount to breaking the law because the law is very clear that when we have excesses in the revenue for the whole country, what had been set aside for the county remains the same, but the national government takes excess equally. When we have a deficit, the national government actually should be able to take care of the deficit. And if you look at the functions that have been devolved, there are those functions that are very, very close to the mwananchi, the ones that are basic, that you can actually have no way of cutting them. Things like health, universal health care that you're talking about, there's no way you can decide, let's cut on health, and because the sicknesses or issues of health will not reduce because we have a problem. They will still be there. Issues of basic necessities like water, they will still be there. Agriculture, the same. But it is possible the national government to cut on expenditure on those major infrastructure programs like this SGR, the highways and those others that can actually be able to wait. And you know, they take huge chunks of money. It is not a weakness to say, let me retrieve and make adjustment. But priorities is what makes a difference. Because when you have scarce resources, the way you arrange them to be able to stay afloat is what is really important.
If have you received a response from Treasury or from government? Have they told you, Governor, we are
after this, I'm walking to the Minister Rotich's place.
You're going to see Rotich today? Okay.
One of the reasons I'm going to see Rotich is because there's a big problem at the moment with, I think, revenue or resources in the country. When they say that the country is broke, not exactly in those words, we feel it more. We are only three and a half months to the end of the financial year. And most counties have received between 33 and 50% of their allocation. At the moment, we are supposed to be at 75. Meaning that even these projects that are supposed to have been undertaken in the county, you know, people are just waiting and watching. You even feel
so the allocation has slowed down.
The allocation is there,
yes,
but the disbursement, because if, for example, like the Tharaka-Nithi County, we have an allocation of about 4 billion. But to date, we have received only 1.5 billion. We still have a balance of 2.5 billion. And looking at the trend, we may not have received even a quarter of that money by the time we go to the end of the financial year, unless we're just given the whole of it within the last month, which is usually tricky because you cannot absorb that money within the shortest time possible. Are
you happy with the revenue allocation model? Is 4 billion enough for Tharaka-Nithi?
Definitely not. It's only that we work with the figures that are available. And at this point, let me say that I have a bone to pick with the census of the 2009. Because we believe that something happened there.
Population census.
Population census.
It's put you at 300 and 400, a little under 400,000, I think.
It is not practical. Because, for example, how can we have 220 registered voters in Tharaka-Nithi County, then the total population is less than 400? It means that the children are less than the adults. Which is not supposed to be the case.
So you have 220,000 registered
voters, but we have, according to the census, around that time, we have around 385.
385,
which is not practical. Because basically, we are supposed to have, when you put 2 children per adult, then we are supposed to be at around 660 as per se. So if that is the formula that was used, then there's a big problem in the way money is being allocated. We are eagerly waiting for the census that is coming in 2019.
Hopefully you will see correction of what you feel like
correction of those anomalies and also the information that we give. Some of our people gave information that gave us a very poor poverty index, where you feel shy to say that you asked, how have you constructed your house? Is it solid ground? And you don't want to tell these people that my house is not cemented. You just say, I cemented. Yeah. Do you have a toilet? That time you have nothing. You usually use a bush, but you don't want to tell the government I have no toilet. So it's just right there, toilet. So when those census results came out, we looked very, very rich.
Very well developed.
But on the other hand, we are absolutely poor.
So you're encouraging constituents to be honest?
You must be honest. Say this is how it is, so that we can actually be able to have the correct allocation.
Let me talk about some of the promises you made on the campaign trail. Yes. I spoke to some of your constituents. These are some of the questions they have for you. First of all, you promised your constituents, I think within 100 days, that you'd find a solution to the Nithi Bridge. It's been a black spot, it's been in the headlines, and you campaigned, I think you told them something like you'll relocate the bridge to a safer area or find a solution. Where are you with that? They're waiting to hear from you.
It is actually on my manifesto, and it says within 100 days, I will start a conversation, right?
Okay, not relocate, start a conversation.
Start a conversation, meaning that we will be negotiating and having those in records with Kenya Highways Authority and Minister of Infrastructure on the issues with the Nithi Bridge. And even between that time and now, we have lost more people. We have lost a very prominent guy recently who was the chairman of Bar Owners Association in Chuka, the Nithi Bridge. And we have solutions to that bridge. We have solutions. It can very easily be reallocated because there are 2 ways. We either have a straight bridge with high pillars like the ones we have in SCGR around Mariakani, where they just, because what is happening is that bridge is at a corner. And therefore, when you're going down a hill and then there's a corner, there are 2 forces opposing each other. There's your speed and then cutting the corner, what in physics is normally called centrifugal force. So when you cut a corner and you're at high speed, it is most likely your car will spin. And there are 2 ways. Either before we get to the bridge, we have the turnoff, where we have a straight bridge, or at the bridge itself, we buy land through where farmers have tea plantations and we come out through another side. And that is the cheapest. The only issue will be the cost of the land. But I'm happy there's a bill in Parliament that is addressing the issue of compensation for public land, which so that is what we would take advantage of and be able to have something that is not very costly for the government, at the same time useful for the people of Kenya.
Do you have any timelines
the
people for a solution?
Who use our bridge, it's not people of Tharaka-Nithi only.
It's Kenyans.
For you to get to Marsabit, you use Nithi Bridge if you don't go through Isiolo. Leave alone Isiolo itself and Meru and also Mandera. It is a bridge on the highway. So we are looking at saving lives. We are in conversation. At the moment, if you go to the records for the ministry, my letter is there, and I've given suggestion because I had my engineer look at the whole thing and give those 2 scenarios. So what is left is just pushing to see whether he can be able to allocate the money. And I've told even the Deputy President himself, this is something that can change the lives of our people. Yes.
Can you give any timelines in terms of promises to the people?
If it was really if it was only the only one making the decision, I would say tomorrow. But since it's a process that involves other departments, I just have to keep on pushing and hoping that within these 5 years that we have before the next election, that we'll have
so in a sense, you feel like your hands are tied?
My hands are tied, but not completely, because I have a mandate to keep on reminding and pushing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's something fair enough. Is the ghost worker issue in the county sorted?
Ghost worker issue.
Came out to public. You suspended 1,061 staff. You know, you spoke about a wage bill of 200 million.
You know, the entry behavior is very important. People have to read your message. You know, they have to know what you want. And that is how I decided to enter Tharaka-Nithi County. We had casual workers who were being given work and they didn't have breaks. You know, in labor laws, if you're a cashier, you're supposed to work for 3 months maximum, and then you take a break. Those ones were not taking a break. That it was a risk. It was a risk because you are employed as a cashier, yet you look like permanent. Okay. And then they are doing work that is supposed to have been done by people who are in permanent employment. They don't work. But to tell you the truth, the issue of wage bill in Tharaka-Nithi, we have struggled with it, and we have substantial results that I can actually be able to tell the wananchi confidently, or the viewers, that from the wage bill of 200 million in August this year, we are now 200 million per month, which translates to 2.4 billion of the 4 billion I was telling you about, which is really crazy. We are now down to 156 million per month. We have saved whooping 44 million per month. And out of that, we've been able to do things that are visible, you know, that are having direct impact on the monanchi. We have been able to buy a grader that is paving roads, grading roads. We have a water boozer that takes water to vulnerable places throughout the county. We have an exhauster instead of borrowing one from Meru and Embu County. We do have a waste management solution where we now have skip loaders and skips that are collecting garbage from the whole county. Out of all those savings, and of course we have built a new office which we are moving out in the next maybe 2-3 weeks.
So next 2-3 weeks the new office.
Because most of our staff were just working from under trees and working from other towns. So we are doing something with the money that we are actually saving, and we will continue saving until, because that was reported to be at 60% by Commission on Revenue Allocation and also Control of Budget. 60% of the allocation of Tharaka-Nithi was going to salaries. 60%. They established what is actually acceptable worldwide in the standard. It's between 30 and 35%. At 60, it means you only get allocations to pay salaries.
Why does your predecessor, Samuel Ragwa, this is an interview he did with a publication of the Standard Group last week, accuse you of not saying the truth about the wage bill? He says it wasn't 200 million. He says it was 6 million. He says you wanted to create posts for the people who voted for you. You know,
one of the things I wouldn't like to do at the moment is politic about serious things.
You think he's getting into
talking about facts. And pick the report on Commission on Revenue Allocation, that is the current one that shows the 2017-18, the latest one that shows you, even it was in the media, in the standard.
Public knowledge.
Yes, public knowledge. The Tharaka-Nithi was #1 in terms of people who use their allocation to pay salaries. We were 60%. That is the highest as compared to the established system that says we have to be at 35%. So whether he goes on radio or newspaper and says what he needs to say, that's a story for another day. But the fact is that we were 60%. At the moment, we have come down. I know we are not doing very well. We are still around 44%.
Because you promised to have the 200 million to about 100 million.
In fact,
so you've gone to 156. Go ahead.
The approved establishment that is allowed by the Control of Budget and CRA, Tharaka-Nithi, what is optimum is supposed to be at 120 million per month, and the county assembly is supposed to be at 9 million per month, making 129. And if you calculate that to allocation, it comes to 32%. And that is what we are aiming at. We still go through further retrenchment. We still go through further, I would call it not really sacking, because we do not want to sack people. We just want to streamline.
Just want to streamline operations.
Just want to streamline operations.
I want to play you a clip of what some of your constituents had to say this week about some of the things they've seen that's happening within the county. If we can play the first one now. All right, that should be coming up on the screen in just a bit. The thoughts of residents.
Kuna maendeleo, barabara zimetengenezwa, kuna grading zimefanywa, kila kitu iko sawa, and we hope kutakuwa na tamaking ya hizo njia na maendeleo zingine hapa na pale.
Hii serikali ya saa hii ukitaka hata kuona gavana sijui unamuona wapi. Amekuwa president bwana, hapatikani. Hata ukienda huko Kadhwana humpati, hakuna mahali unampata. Na kwa kazi, ile kazi kidogo tu nimeona ni kutoka Kambandi kwenda kwa Mati. Hiyo barabara ndio imewekwa Malamu peke yake. Ile wamefanya ile yao ile kubwa ni kufuta watu. Hiyo ndio kubwa sana, wazao walikuwa wamesema iko watu wengi walikuwa wameajiriwa na ile county ghost workers. Hiyo ndio main yao, ile kazi kubwa wamefanya kufuta watu.
All right, there are those saying, good job, Governor, keep going, we are seeing changes. And the other saying, not yet, we can't find you. Where are you? So let me begin by that one. Some of your people asking, where are you, Governor?
I like my people because
they're the ones who voted for you. I think 200,000.
They would love to see me. I'm coming from a background where I had a previous job that was simply, it was very easy. Because I was a member of parliament.
Yes,
you know,
we've hosted you here several times.
You've just talked about, and my office was just there in town.
Just near where
yes,
that goes.
Yes. So walk in, walk out, as per se. And this gentleman was used to. He's an activist in politics.
Oh, you know the gentleman.
Yes,
okay. Okay. So we haven't just picked an actor somewhere.
He's a DP. He's a DP. I think Secretary General, Democratic Party, and you know, politicians like warmth of leaders. But I want to tell my people the job that has been cut out for me is slightly different from the one of the Member of Parliament, because basically Member of Parliament has a lot of oversight role, whereby they move around and see what is wrong and they report and they lobby. Mine is so much involved in planning and at the same time implementing the plans. You know, you make the plan and implement them, you know, and ensure also their results, which have to be reported. And you look at now my area of jurisdiction is quite big, and it involves a lot of
it's the whole county now.
The whole county, and it involves a lot of planning, a lot of meetings. Like now, after I leave here, I have a meeting with the VC of Nairobi University, because it's something they're doing with us, you know, and we will save money.
Okay.
So accessibility. These gentlemen, they want to see me in person, which of course they will see me once in a while.
Okay.
But they've forgotten that in a government, we have people who represent the governor.
Okay.
All right. From the ward level, we have the ward administrator, we have the sub-county administrator. Then from there, we have the chief officers, we have the directors, and we have what we call the CCs, county member of, more or less like the minister. All right. And from there, you still have the county secretary, and we have the deputy governor. And that system has been put in the place because it is known very well. It is not possible for the governor to access everybody, all right? But if they, as a team, make a delegation to me, and
are there days that
they organize, I see them on appointments,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Because it's the only way, it's structured way, where they have an appointment. Like now, I know the ones that are lined for next week. Yesterday and the day before, I had two groups that had come to see me. But on this chit-chatting with one individual, sometimes I want it very much, but it may not be possible all the time the way they want it. Of course, he can corner me when you are going for a function in church, and we'll share one or two, and I really want to be available.
Okay.
And I also discourage them that, you know, before, when you're a member of parliament, you used to wake up in the morning and find your company is full of people. We are not fees, this one wanted this. And I told them, yes, you can visit me. But when you give me a letter that you want a bursary, by the time I take it to the minister, having passed here and there, you'll find that the minister has already given the bursary. Sometimes they may be forgetting the office. That is why I have people even around me. So you promise them that
the systems work? That if they see your ministers, because maybe they want to see you because they're not getting what
the systems work very well.
Okay.
Absolutely. They also may probably want, every time they make a phone call, they want to find me there. So if they find my PA or they find, it's a problem. They say, oh, comes, we can't find him now, and we used to find him before.
Yes.
And I'm promising them there, I'm working for them. I'm not doing anything else. I'm actually working for them.
Okay.
And it's good. The gentleman says he has seen results of a road that has been tarmac. Within how many months? 5 months.
5 months.
So what does he expect in 5 years if he has seen something in only 5 months? He must expect tarmacs and tarmacs.
Let me read you some SMSs here. I'll start with Eric Kiremi. He says, congratulations, Governor, for the good work. Health sector is changing. Roads are now under construction. Everything is under control. That's one. Another person here, he doesn't... So a lot of road questions here. And maybe that's one question I need to pose to you. Let me read them to you. When are you planning to tarmac the Kibugua, Itugororo, Kamwimbi, Ishiara Road?
Yes.
That's one. The second one is the Keria Magutuni Kare Road has been turned into a campaign tool. No tarmac, just promises. Your people are suffering. Let me see if there's another one for roads. Okay, another one here says, I'm a resident from Chogoria, specifically Iguanjua. Iguanja. I beg your pardon for that. I congratulate my governor for the effort. I have realized, however, that there is no road from the lower side of Chogoria that has been tarmacked. Does it mean that people from lower Chogoria can never have even a single tarmac road? Okay, so roads. help your people understand what's going on with roads.
First of all, I want to appreciate that roads are very important to our people, and Tharaka-Nithi County is one place where, because of a lot of rains on the upper side, we touch the mountain on the upper side. On the lower side, we need Bagarissa. So we are very diversified climate conditions for the Tharaka-Nithi County. And therefore, every time we have heavy rains, they carry away everything. So making roads, we need seriousness, not just touch and go, which is usually the policy of some of the people that we've seen. We say we just grade and move. So when it rains because of ourselves, that is when we have a lot of hue and cry, because people get stuck in the mud and all that. When it's dry, there's also a lot of dust. So we are never safe any one time. If it's dry, it's bad. If it's raining, it's worse. The only solution is tarmac. But tarmac is very expensive. But our people know very well that as a county alone, we are not able to tarmac all the roads. Unlike the previous regime for the county government, which of course I embrace how much they've been able to do, because you can only scratch where your hand can be able to reach. Okay. I said Tharaka-Nithi County in these 5 years we will ensure that we have 10 kilometers of tarmac every year.
Okay. Every financial year. Yes, I saw that in your manifesto.
Yes, 10 kilometers. And the ones that we are not able to do because we have classification of roads. You know, Mwananchi does not understand the classification. Them, they just know we have a government, and I support them. That is why we can never have a fight between the national and the county government. We are supposed to be cooperating rather than colliding. If I'm doing road A tarmac, they should be able to do road C. Okay. And of course, to be bigger magnitude because the national government have money. We have roads in the counties that are under national. Our hands are tied because we can never allocate money for those roads, because KERA has allocated money, CDF has allocated money and all that. But Mwananchi will not understand that there's a difference between the county and the national roads. However, what we have done with the members of parliament is that we collaborate with each other. Like now the grader we've bought, I have allowed members of parliament can be able to fuel it and use it. Okay. Because the money belongs to the people.
Are there any promises you can give for roads, let's say this year?
Yes, yes.
Which road can you say by the end of this year, residents of this location?
Keria Magutuni, I confirmed this in the budget for the national. Okay. That is going to start because it even has a contractor. In our county budget, we have a road that connects the highway to Meru at a place called Medero to a new road that is being done between Kadwana, our county headquarters, Chuka, in a place called Kanwa. Okay. So there's a road that is going to, and it's already started. We have a contractor on the ground, a county contractor doing tarmac at Medero. If those people have doubts, they can go to Medero now and see. We have a contractor on site actually called Probis, who is already constructed a camp, and they have already started doing the road. In the next, I've said they must do 1 kilometer, and I see real tarmac, black one. Then I go there with probably the minister or deputy president and commission something we can be able to see. Okay. So that is our 10 kilometers for this year. Okay. In the next financial year, I have promised I'll do Mukodima town. Okay. I'll do Chogoria town. Okay. I'll do Kibugwa town. The one he's talking about of Kibugwa, some places Shiara, that is for the national, which we are lobbying. And I've been promised by the deputy president that they'll ensure that that also is included.
Fair enough. Allow me to interrupt you. I have so many SMSs, I don't know whether I'll be able to get through all of them, but a quick question for you. Water availability, specifically in Tharaka and Igamba Ngombe. We are told that students in some schools, they have to draw water from a river, which is more than 10 to 12 kilometers from their school. What are you doing about that? Have you heard about that?
I am quite aware. You're quite aware. Very close to the county, and I want to tell you right now that when we reported to the county headquarters didn't have water. my officers were using long drop at the market. Today...
When was this? When you came?
August.
In August, they were using long drop toilets?
Yes. And 2 months down the line, I can confirm to you here, there's so much water in county headquarters that now they have lavatories like everybody else, including the governor himself. Now, there's a school that was in the neighborhood that used to fetch water from the river. And I want to say anybody who has seen them in the river now, unless it's political, it would maybe a dream or mirage. Shakariga Gas, which is near the Kenya Water Institute. We bought a water boozer. I already mentioned that in our civics. And I've said any school that has got a water problem, I don't want to hear children have gone to the river to fetch water. Let them call my transport manager, let them call also the sub-county administrator, and water will be availed in the school the same day. And all we are asking them is, let us try it through the BOM and the well-wishers to have storage tanks in the schools.
So this water boozer, you call and it's delivered? It
delivers water, no cost, as long as the government institution, not individuals. How will you
manage to handle all the schools with one or two?
No, that is a stopgap measure.
For now.
Yeah, because we still have a water program that is going on in places where rivers have been drying. And you know, the climate change in Kenya has affected every part of this country. We have rivers that used to flow for 12 months. Now they're flowing for 7 months, 8 months. Others have dropped up to even 6 months. And we cannot rely on those rivers anymore. There are intakes there, but the pipes are out, dry. And we have decided we need to have a different solution to this problem.
I know we've
gone back to boreholes.
Boreholes, I've heard of 6.
Yes, also. We've gone back to boreholes. Right now we have a contractor who is implementing 15 of them. And they're implementing them in a different way because it's not a borehole for pumping, where the borehole is with a hand pump.
Yes.
It's powered with solar pump. And then it is distributed 6 kilometers from the borehole with watering points at every half a kilometer.
And that's a long-term solution?
Yes, it's a long-term solution. Because we picked the boreholes that have got water that is enough, not the ones that will just dry up after some time. And most of those are usually in the Tharaka region and the lower region. And the upper region, we have small water projects that we've been able to do intakes in rivers that usually don't dry. And then we have shorter distances to cover. Because when you make them longer distances, it is a problem because most of the times it dry. However,
briefly, please.
Very briefly, I have a serious problem with people called Warma, the ones who are supposed to control the harvesting of water from the rivers. Because they have given licenses and most people have exceeded. You know, when you get a license to get water from the river, they measure for you and tell you, use a pipe of 5 inch and put it here. But the same people will go and put 12 inch and maybe put in several places. They take away all the water and then downstream people are just dying without water. And one of those big problems is a place, the river called Ura, which is serving the most of the lower Tharaka region. We have another one called Dochi, and others in various places are drying up because of that. And we have said, I've told Warma, it doesn't matter what, because they have enforcement. It is breaking the law. If you use a pipe that's bigger than
more allocation than you were given by this body,
it is wrong. And then they're not doing their work. They must do it.
I think your message has come out quite clear. I want us to do 2 things. I want us to read a couple of SMSs and listen again to what other residents had to say. Get a response from you as we wrap up this discussion. Can we start with the SMSs then? Let's put a few up on the screen for you. Governor, what's your view on the claims by residents of Tharaka-Nithi that you came up with a pay bill for revenue collection which was not approved by the county assembly? You'll be able to answer that. Let's quickly go through them. Let's take a look at the next one. I'll note them for you, Governor, and remind you. In the month of July 2017, there was a small salary increment which was implemented by your government. What happened to the salary arrears for July, August and September? Finally, why didn't you pay your civil servants their leave allowance for 2017? And Governor Muthomi, tree cover in the county along the rivers, what's the plan for that? And let's do one more. I think this one I already read it. Governor, good job. The health sector is changing. Roads are now under construction. Everything is under control. All right. Let's play the second set of sort of reactions from residents there. Can we have that now?
Vijijini kila mahali ni maji, imeenda chini, kutoka kwa msitu kuenda chini ni kama kilomita 50 kilometers. Mahali maji inaenda na ni maji mengi na kila mtu anafurahia. Hiyo ndio kitu kile tunavongeza sana, kwa sababu ile usafi wa maji umewekwa na maji ni mengi.
Yale mambo ambayo wakubwa wetu walituambia watatufanyia, kama kutuwekea rami ama maneno ya ambassador bando hatujafewa, hakuna kitu ambayo wanatufanyia.
All right, we try and present both views, Governor. One person there very happy, wherever he was, he didn't have water before, now he has
water.
But this other guy saying he hasn't seen any
Yes.
I want to give you a couple of minutes just to finish. You can respond to what they've said and these questions and wrap it up there.
Development is progressive.
It's progressive.
When you find one person say something has happened, it means the one downstream is waiting and is getting there. So it's okay, it is in order, because there's evidence something is happening. 5 months, my friend. We have 5 years to go. We are doing very well for those 5 months.
Okay.
If you're able to do that, what they're saying in those 5 months, it means the next 5 years, unless something happens, we lose focus, which I don't anticipate.
Okay.
We are getting there. Pay bill. You know, Tharaka-Nithi County had a shortfall of they reduced from a whole 100% of the target to 44% collection.
I even saw last year you were one of the bottom 3 in terms of revenue collection, July to September.
Correct.
Yes.
Very poor. Because what happened is that we had people who were robbing wananchi of Tharaka-Nithi County. My people pay the revenue, but it never gets to the county government of Tharaka-Nithi. It never gets to their accounts.
Are they being investigated by EACC?
Those are the people, you know, there are people you don't even catch. You know, we are talking about a clerk here who collects money. He collects 10,000 from a market, and then he has his own receipt, where he has put some on the side, and then he keeps money in the house for 1 week, and then the banks at the end of the week. You know, when you have money in the house, like they were telling us that it's very interesting, sometimes you get a need and use it. And we have said, this is a matter of policy. My policies, some of them don't need to go to the county assembly. I have not increased the revenue. That is what needs to go to the council assembly. Whether I decide to collect with pay bill, whether I decide to work and collect money, whether I tell them to take them to the bank, it does not change the status. Because you tell me, what is wrong when I tell Mwananchi, don't go give my revenue boys cash money, because sometimes they even go and drink it in the bar. Pay directly to the account. What is wrong with that? So the people who are complaining about this, people want us to go back to the same habit of collecting cash money so they can continue using it.
Who bears the charges? Pay bill has a cost? 10 shillings, 20 shillings?
Up to 200 shillings, it is zero. No cost.
It is zero.
It is zero. From 200 upwards, that must be a license or something bigger. If you can afford to pay us 1,500 for the truck of Maram, how can you be unable to pay 50 shillings for convenience of that? This is a question of, I have decided, let the rich take care of the poor, so that the poor can also get to where they are.
Okay.
Yeah, it is no problem with that. Mama Mboga should not struggle paying charges. But if you're paying bigger money, you're having a construction that is you're doing in town for 200 million, there's nothing wrong with you giving us 100,000 out of that.
Okay.
So that we don't have to overcharge Mama Mboga with a small income.
Let me briefly get your response to the other two. Leave for some former employees, or a pay that they were supposed to get, and of course tree cover.
You know, when I came to Tharaka-Nithi County, and I found a situation where we were in arrears of 5 months for salaries. I am happy no one is talking about it. Can you imagine, in 5 months I've been able to pay arrears of salaries for 5 months? It means that I had to do a lot of adjustments in there. So those things they're talking about, if they're not being done, they're on the way. It's not only salaries that had a problem, even statutory deductions for our staff, where you find you have a loan, county government used to deduct from your salary, they don't remain to the bank. Even some banks had said we don't want to process salaries for Tharaka-Nithi County. Right now, banks are walking literally to us. I tell them, talk to my staff, they are free to bank where they want. And the same case with the NHIF, and my people used to go to the hospital, they said we can't treat you. Why? Because your government has never remitted your NHIF, yet they have been collecting it. So the messes that have been fixing, I'm telling people, give me time. It is going to be the real Kana, not the fake one that we were heading one day. It's going to be a real one, because there's already evidence. We no longer have strikes in Tharaka-Nithi County for nurses.
Okay.
They get their salaries before 28th of the month, and it is really nothing to complain about. The tree cover. We have a serious situation in Tharaka-Nithi County, because our lower side, which is away from the Mount Kenya region, has very good indigenous trees that have got very good hardwood that gives very good fire. And therefore, we have people who have been relying on biomass or wood to generate energy. Tea factories, we have people who also take to schools and all that.
Okay.
And our people are very easily lured into into selling at very cheap prices,
Yes.
including even cutting trees like mangoes.
Okay.
Because it's very easy when you cut a tree and you get money. However, the effect of that, and I've told my people, is to create a situation where you have no rains. And we have, because of that reason, stopped not just the logging that has been stopped by the national government on the forest cover for, you know, the ones that had KFS. Even in our farms, you can no longer now bring down a tree even that you planted without
passed
having
the laws to back this up.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that. Our environment has done that. We cannot be able to allow you to cut trees without you planting other trees in the same time that can be able to grow fast. And we're going to support our people
Fair enough.
to have their own nurseries, and we're also doing seeds that we're going to distribute freely, or seedlings, to the farmers so that we can be able to increase the forest cover.
Okay, allow me to stop you there.